Hey guys. I hope y'all staying warm because I believe if I heard correctly, it's gonna get to like 106 in Georgia. So I am just so glad that I got my braids done yesterday because when I tell you it is hot, that's an understatement. Y'all, we're gonna get into basketball wives. I really haven't talked much about them because it really wasn't anything going on. But I need to get into Jackie's daughter, Chantel, because I mean, does she like her mama? Because it's giving, I hate you. And I'm trying to not say that, but I've watched the episode, I've taken notes, and I'm really confused. But y'all got to let me know what y'all think because we got to jump into this. Let's get into it.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
I just love that. Okay, y'all, we got to get into it now. I don't really do recaps, but I feel like I got to do some recapping on this. First off, I don't understand why Chantel is on this show because it seems like maybe her and Jackie should be on a maybe a show where they can fix their relationship. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. This episode that I'm talking about was called Wacky Attacking Jackie. Um, Wacky Attacking Jackie. I don't know why Jackie even wants to be on this show when she is the only married person. And I know y'all gonna say Brandy. Yeah, Brandy is married, but Brandy has not been consistent. I mean, she came back this time, but we never know if Brandy is gonna come or go. So, one of the things that transpired, and I'm gonna kind of play the clip for y'all, is for some reason, Brandy and Jackie's daughter just didn't get along. I mean, y'all know how that goes. But I also feel like we already know how it goes on at least this show. We're talking about Basketball Wives, where the entire cast gang up against one person. I do feel like this is happening to Brandy because, for one, I feel like everybody, for some reason, feels the same way, which is so crazy because they are addressing Brandy's behavior, but they don't address Evelyn's behavior. So it's really irritating to see these women coddle and run up to Evelyn as if she's somebody when she ain't shit. She ain't even married, can't keep nobody. Like she's the worst example. So I don't understand why these women don't speak up and just be an individualized person and feel like that they want to run up and kiss Evelyn's corroded is what they're saying. So let's kind of get into where this shit started, where it kind of came from.
Has something to say, just say it, you guys. I think she just has a real stank attitude since I got.
And of course, Shawnee, the fake pastor, is the leader of it all. She just comes in from time to time with her messy Poindexter nose having ass. So she's saying that she thinks Brandy has a bad attitude when maybe, maybe she was a little, bad attitude-ish, but in this same, previous scene, Evelyn went off on the ladies because she wants them to go off on go off on Jennifer's aunt, Christian's and Jennifer's aunt for what the lady said about her because she's scared to do it. Now, why would the group defend her? Like that just doesn't make any sense.
And then, since we got here, cut it out. First of all, is you talking to me? Yeah, I'm talking to you. Stay in the child's place. Oh.
She says, stay in the child's place. And that was the beginning of the problem. And I'm going to be honest, y'all. I'm jumping ahead. I watched this, took notes. Based on how Chantel acted toward the end of this, girl, you do need to stay in the child's place because when you start calling for your father and you're a grown-ass married woman, something ain't right. But we're going to get into that, okay? So they're talking about Brandy has this poor attitude. And as you know, you see Shawnee kind of egged it on by saying Brandy has a bad attitude. Okay. Now, I can't play you guys the entire clip, but what ended up happening is Evelyn jumps in and says, yeah, you do have a bad attitude because you put your hand in Shaunie's face. Now, here's my deal with this. And this is why I always say, these people on these reality shows, you should be true to yourself. Brandy kissed Evelyn's funky ass, all to try to get in her good graces to have Evelyn throw her ass back under the bus. So it's just like, Brandy, I don't feel sorry for you, Brandy, because you're getting exactly what you deserve. Okay. Um, and then Evelyn, as I previously stated, brings up her situation with Christian's aunt, which is like, Evelyn, you only have a problem when you know these people will probably drag your ass. If Christian's aunt wants to defend him, that's on her. Talk to her about it. Why are you so afraid? Because Christian's aunt, which is Lauren, said that when Jen called her, she pulled up, but Evelyn wouldn't film with her. Evelyn is such a freaking coward. Now, the reason why I'm talking about Jackiechristie and her daughter is because I know it's not just me. Something is wrong with that relationship. And we notice it by these chain of things. Brandy apologizes to Jackie. Why I understand why she apologizes to Jackie, because Brandy feels like her and Jackie has this good relationship, but yet she told her daughter to stay in the child's place. While Brandy does not know Chantel like that, she does know Jackie. So I understand Brandy apologizing to Jackie. Okay. But for some reason, that also became a problem for Chantel, because Chantel feels like, well, why are you apologizing to my mom? It seems like, listen, y'all, Chantel is definitely Jackie's daughter, because all these different behaviors just don't add up. They just don't. Because she has a problem with Brandy, but then she has a problem with Jackie, but she told Jackie to let her handle her own situations. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And this is why I'm talking about it, because her and Jackie made some kind of pact that Jackie would let her handle herself. I mean, this is the same woman that says and is bragging to the group that her mother hasn't even met her husband. And I'm trying to understand, why is she being so toxic, in terms of coming to the group, just airing her own mama out. Girl, you just got there. And then I see a lot of inconsistencies in her behavior. And when I say that, I'm saying simply, you say you don't want Jackie to cross this line or that line, but yet you are saying that she didn't speak up for you. So, girl, you can't have it both ways. So I can kind of understand why Jackie would be a little bit confused and standoffish, because it's like, damned if I do, damned if I don't. Okay. So now Jackie is in a hot seat, because now Chantel has told the group that she has saw Jackie act a fool for less. So what Chantel is saying, you are not intervening for me, but I've saw you act a fool for less. So essentially what Chantel is painting a picture of her mom, simply saying, my mom doesn't protect me. My mother is not on my side. And it just seems like she wants to paint this narrative, and I don't understand why. It just seems like she does not like her mother. So like I said, she wants to paint this picture that Jackie is a horrible person. And I get it, but I don't understand the inconsistencies. Okay. You say you don't want her to do this, you don't want her to do that, but yet you're crying to the group saying you want her to do it. But then you say, but she knows I don't. So it's just like, girl, you acting just like your mama. Okay. Now, here is another twist. We know Chantel obviously has an issue with her mom for not speaking up on her behalf, but like I said, but when she was asked, she recanted and made it seem like she didn't want her mother to speak up for her. But then in her confessional, she says that her mom never pretty much chose her. So I'm just like, I'm trying to understand Chantel, but it's not making sense to me. Okay. Um, Now, another thing, Chantel seems to have a problem with Brandy, because she seems like what she's saying is her mom has compassion for Brandy. And I'm just like, girl, what are you talking about? If you tell your mama to stay out of your business, she kind of got to remove herself emotionally. So I'm really trying to understand, what is it that you want from her? Okay. Brandy then decides, she wants to apologize to Chantel because it seems like everybody is going off on her. But even in trying to apologize to Chantel, Chantel is continually popping off, and it's major. She's saying all kind of stuff. And it just seems like Brandy again is being ganged up on. My deal is Brandy's attitude is no different than Evelyn's. In fact, Evelyn's is worse. So why are we focused on Brandy's attitude? Evelyn takes accountability for nothing but lies all the time. She comes on this show every season with nothing to talk about except for everybody else's life. The internet is saying that her and her daughter slept with the game, allegedly. Talk about that. The internet is saying that you built your daughter, and they're calling your daughter a builder whore. That's what the internet is saying. Talk about that, okay? So, this is funny coming from Evelyn addressing someone else's behavior. Ming brings up the situation in which Chantel is saying, she's telling the group, hey, I feel like my mom would react over smaller things, but I don't feel like she's basically there for me. And I'm like, again, what the F do Chantel want? Then we got Brittany, who inserts herself to the point it becomes a huge back and forth between her and Jackie. Now, Brittany and Jackie is into it, okay? Well, here's the deal with that situation. Brittany is not really mad at Jackie. Brittany has her own trauma with her own mother, and seeing Jackie and Chantel's interaction is bringing up her trauma. So now she is projecting, is really what's happening, because Brittany, girl, mind your own business, okay? You just got a divorce after being with somebody for 2 days all over the internet. You don't know if you want to be Muslim or not. Let's talk about that, Brittany. Anywho, this is where it gets crazy. Chantel again goes to say she didn't want her mom to speak up for her on her behalf, but then says there's a difference when speaking up for right and wrong. Chantel, what the are you talking about? You got to make it make sense for me. You are definitely your mama's child, because you are class A delusional. It's like she goes back and forth in these different scenes. You're crying. I want my mom. It's just like, girl, you are, I get it. You was raised by your mother. You are an exact replica of her. And maybe that's why you don't like her, because girl, I'm trying to follow you, and it is driving me insane to even follow you. Now, Brittany now has a blow up with Jackie about her daughter, about Chantel. Again, Brittany is projecting, okay? Jackie asked Chantel to stay out of it. If y'all paid attention, Jackie says, stay out of my business like you asked me to stay out of yours. Again, where's the problem, Chantel, when you did not want your mother to interfere? Well, this is where it gets interesting. And this is where I'm like, Chantel, do you like your mama? Because let's say my daughter told me to stay out of something, and I'm like, okay, the minute you start calling my daughter out of her name, I'm finna be on top of your head. Well, the fact that Brittany had blew up and had called Jackie so many BITCHs, okay? Of course, Jackie had threatened to put hands on her, but I feel like if Chantel is really your friend, the fact that you don't call this lady 99 B's really indicates that you don't respect Jackie. And it makes me think that you said something more to her off camera. But again, it goes to what I'm saying. Does Chantel hate her mother? Because it really seems like it. Now, it gets so crazy to the point that Chantel is clearly protecting what is her name, Brittany, and she's kind of going against her mother to take Brittany's side, when it doesn't seem like the love is there, because you hear this girl calling your mama multiple BITCHs, and you are not infuriated, you're not angry, you are just sitting there basically arguing with your mother too. And I'm like, this shit is crazy. Chantel, do you hate your mom? Because that is exactly what it's giving. Now, Chantel jumps up and she calls Brandy a bitch. So it's like, Chantel, girl, you need to take some medication, okay? Because I don't understand how Brandy had anything. Brandy was sitting there minding her own business, and Chantel jumps up and says, "You, you think this B?" Let me see what I wrote down. Chantel says Jackie is out of her mind. Oh, not that part. So Chantel calls Brandy a B. I don't know exactly what she said. I didn't write that down as far as why, but she basically was telling Jackie, pretty much you protecting this B, and it just was like so like out of order. Like, why are you calling Brandy bitch's? It just wasn't warranted. And considering that you and Brandy's situation had calmed down, and it was now Brittany and your mom, and you chose this time to attack Brandy, which is giving, girl, something is wrong with you. Like, this just does not add up. So at this point, Chantel is attacking Brandy, and then at some point she goes, and she's yelling at her mother, which is really crazy. Um, and then Chantel goes, now she's acting like a child because she says, I need to call my dad. This girl is bawling on camera. I need to call my dad. Well, here's the deal. Chantel talked about having fear as she grew up for her, her mother. And I'm just not understanding, then why the hell did you come on this show? Why are you on this show? Like, you had to have known that you were going to be in close proximity with your mother. And it seems like you hate her so much. She's never met your husband. And then you decide to come on her show and talk about her, which is really crazy considering I don't feel like any of the ladies are really cool like that with Jackie, except for Evelyn. I believe, I'm sorry, except for Jennifer. I believe Evelyn is just as phony as they come. I believe Brandy is somewhat, but Brandy is also a flip flopper. I think she flips over to whatever is going to work for her at that time. Okay. So here's the deal. Brandy gets up and basically goes over to Chantel to console her. And the crazy part about this is Chantel is yelling, keep her away from me. So it's like, Chantel, are you okay, girl? Because you just got up, called Brandy a bitch, ran up out of there, and yet Brandy was the only one to come and check on you. And now the same girl you called a bitch is consoling you, and you're saying, keep your mother away from you, which we could have actually solved that had you not come on this show. Because why are you even here? Like, I don't understand what you're giving. You are creating confusion. You are, why are you so close with Evelyn when this was the same woman that called your mama a hoe last season? So I'm just really, and y'all please help me out because I'm trying to understand what the hell is going on. Now, it gets even more crazier because in Evelyn's confessional, she basically says that Jackie doesn't give a fuck about her daughter. And I feel like that is crossing the line because although Chantel is on the show, I feel like let the mother and daughter deal with their own, relationship. Because if somebody were to bring up you and your allegedly build a whore daughter, I don't think you would like that. So to say that Jackie doesn't give a fuck about her daughter, Evelyn, and you supposed to be her friend is a problem, okay? Because Evelyn don't give a damn about Chantel. What Evelyn wants to do is create a storyline so that she, again, doesn't have to tell about the shit that's going on in her life, if anything, right? Evelyn's main priority is to keep the light off of her, right? She wants to keep everything off her. And she wants to indulge in everybody else's business. Now, what ended up happening is Jackie and Chantel have a talk, and Chantel speaks about about not wanting to expose Jackie. Girl, you have exposed her. You have told us she was a terrible mother, and how you were afraid of her. You made your mother look really bad. And with any mother and daughter or mother and son, there's going to be some things about the relationship that is always not cut and dry. But to come on TV and drag your mother to the very person that called her a hoe last season is low down and dirty. And Chantel, girl, you need to get off this show. Okay. Get your ass off this show. Um, so now Chantel is sitting with Jackie and now they are getting into it. But honey, that's not it. Okay. Because Chantel tells Jackie, I don't want to expose you, which she's pretty much already did. Now she's further acting like a child. I mean, Brandy said, you act like a child or you were a child. Now I kind of understand maybe there were some things that we missed because you definitely act like a child because now she's screaming saying she wants to call her dad. And I believe Jackie said something like, don't get my husband in it or don't call my husband. This girl says, are you dumb? Then she says, you must be high, because what Chantel is implying is, how do you tell me not to call my dad? Are you dumb? If I was Jackie, I would have drugged Chantel, daughter or not, because you would not be disrespecting me. I would have laid hands on you and laid you the FUCK out, because that is so disrespectful. One thing I cannot stand, and I don't care how old you are. My grandmother, both of my grandmothers, I considered them as mothers. And before they died, they never heard me curse. And I was grown as heck even then. But the fact of the matter is that this girl disrespects her mother to her face. I don't like you, Chantel. I don't like you. Now, I don't know what kind of relationship you and Jackie had, but I think the best thing to do is get into counseling, because you are on a reality show and Evelyn is going to exploit you and she is going to use this to her advantage. She don't give a damn about you or your mama having a good relationship, because why would she care when the world has dragged her and her daughter for being hoes? Now, one thing we know that your mama didn't do is teach you how to be a hoe. Well, you are now conspiring with the very person who don't even like your mother. So as a mother, and I'm gonna be honest, if I don't like somebody, my kids don't. Yes, if I don't, you better not, because I'm gonna tell you and you better adopt what I'm saying. Hello. So how is it that Evelyn is so cool with Jackie's daughter, but she really not cool with Jackie? So she's using Chantel for information. And I think it's really sad that Chantel is allowing herself to be used like that. Again, I don't know what relationship Jackie and her daughter has. I do not know that. But one thing I can say is it cannot be that bad where you come on the show. You got to understand, in order for Chantel to get on this show, I'm sure Jackie had to go to Shawnee, the executive producers, whoever, and say, hey, my daughter wants to be on the show. So how do you get on the show? Use your mom to get on the show and then get on this very show and drag her and tell the very people how she is a terrible mother, and it's giving you hate your mother, and it's giving like, girl, get the fuck off this show. Seriously. If your entire storyline is going to be beef with your mama, get off the show. Like, show us your husband, show us your life, show us what you have going on. Chantel, you have gotten on this show and you have teamed up with Evelyn. We tired of that. Like, we have saw that storyline play out over and over again. Stand up on your two legs and be an independent person. Like, you're going along with the same narrative that every idiot on this show have went along with, except for Tammy, except for OG, people like that. So, I guess, you want to stay on the show. So, you got to, kiss ass or what, I guess. And it's getting old. It's getting very old. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like I said, I wasn't going to speak on this, but after watching it over and over again, I said, this is a mess. Like, I want to see Chantel off. I just don't think that this show is a good fit for her. Let me know what y'all think.